All right, welcome back for Action Comics issue 4. Now, if you'll remember in the previous episode, the guards caught Superman in disguise outside of the boss man's building, and they called him a bohunk. And I wanted to know what bohunk meant, so I looked it up. It means an uncivilized immigrant laborer. So that fits in with the story. But boy, I would have never guessed that just from the word bohunk. Also, way back in Action Comics issue 1, I was wondering if Joe Shuster was the guy who also colored the comics. You know, I was comparing this panel with the cover of the first comic, and I had mentioned something about, I wonder if they didn't have comic book colorists back then. The artists didn't color it. What they did was they would send notes with the artwork to the printer, and the printer would color the comics. Weird, right? I guess apparently they didn't get colorists working on the comics until sometime in the 40s, later in the 40s. So 1938, no, the printer was responsible for. So anytime you see like they didn't even color in Superman's shield on his chest, but that's the printer's fault. So okay, so here we go, issue 4. We got a Canadian Mountie versus a werewolf. I don't think that's a werewolf, but maybe a hobo. It's not a Superman story. So on to Superman. Car speeding, hits a pedestrian. Superman, leaping overhead, sees the commotion down below and goes to help by landing next to a railroad track. But okay. Oh, I see. The guy that hit the pedestrian, it was a hit and run. He left the scene. And so Superman, he's going to chase the guy down. And the guy stalled out on the railroad tracks. What a dope. They call it the hit skip car. Lingo. Alrighty, now we're in the train engine. Now's me chance to sneak a little nip while he's backy stained. Ooh, Superman racing the train. Pretty cool, huh? Here we go. He saves the hit and run guy. Well, didn't matter because he died of a heart attack. Oh, jeez. At least Superman's back in his costume, so this is nice. Uh-oh, someone's entering. He sneaks into the train, and a couple of guys enter the train car, so Superman hides behind some furniture. Okay, so he listens in, and they give him all the details of what's afoot. So Superman, he waits until they leave, and then he just goes back to the Daily Star, gets back into his guise as Clark Kent, and he's going to go follow up on this. Apparently, these are the coaches of a high school football game, and they're on the take. So apparently, Superman is an identical twin to the worst player on the team. As you can see here, his name is Tommy Burke, and his girlfriend is breaking up with him because he's just not a good enough athlete. Like the new guy she's dating, the tennis champ, Wallace Dodd. Anyways, doesn't matter because as he storms off to go show her I'll be a real athlete, he runs into Clark Kent. Well, I guess it's Superman because he doesn't have his glasses. Dressed up like him, comes at him with a hypodermic needle and stabs him and injects him with drugs to knock him out. Superman just hypodermic needled this innocent guy. Yep, he wakes up later on in, I guess, this safe house, and Superman tells him, yeah, you're gonna stay here for a few days. So now he's kidnapping him because he wants to assume his identity to go play football, which he does. Goes into the locker room, they pick a fight with him, to no avail, because he just starts tossing them around. And who comes in? Is that Dick Tracy? Nope, just has the same yellow hat. Okay, so he gets into the football gear. Oh, so it's their coach, Coach Dick Tracy. He says, yeah, Burke, you're causing trouble. Not only do you suck as a player, but now you're roughing up your teammates. So guess what? You're not even allowed to go sit out on the bench and watch. Stay here in the locker room. Well, you know, Superman, he does not follow the rules. So he's stabbing people with drugs. He's kidnapping them. So now he's going to go out onto the field. He's going to defy Coach Dick Tracy. And he goes right out and starts playing. Look at that. I don't really know the rules of football, but I think you're only allowed to have a certain number of players on the field. I believe it's 11 per side. If I'm wrong, go ahead and laugh at me. But how do you just run out and join the game if they've already got all the men on the field? I don't know. Questions that will never be answered. But he jumps in and takes everybody on. Oh, he's winning the game single-handedly. Look at that. Touchdown after touchdown. They're like, how did Tommy Burke all of a sudden become this football dynamo? And Clark, Superman, he comes back to the house. I think that's him. I don't know. Every male in this story looks like Superman. So somebody's there sitting with him at the safe house reading a newspaper saying that they're cracking jokes about Tommy Burke. I don't know. Back to the story. So they're still in the game. That's a quick moving newspaper. They're writing articles about him while the game is still going on. It's going to press. It's being distributed. It's being picked up and being read. So that's somebody else sitting in the house with him. Does Superman have an accomplice? I don't get it. Okay, so here he goes. Now, he's back as Superman. Oh, it's multiple games he's playing in. I see. That's why he's kidnapped Burke for multiple days, keeping him drugged up. And look, the thugs have come to visit with him. And he's saying, it's not me playing, it's a stand-in. They don't want to hear anything of it. In comes Super. Oh, look, a new chest emblem design. I like this. Kind of weird, like chevron shape with a red S. So it's not the yellow S on a red background. Red S on a yellow background. Interesting. So now it's time for the big game. Oh, okay, so they're going to stab Tommy, aka Superman, with a knife because there are thugs that have been hired to join the opposing team. He takes everyone out. The knife has no effect on him. Everyone's upset. But Superman switches places with Tommy somewhere in here. Oh, right here. He switches places with him so that Tommy can just finish the game like a bumbling idiot. He wins the girl, and she tells him, oh, you're a real football hero. I'm sorry, but never play football again because it's too brutal. And he goes, yeah, you got it. I'll give it up for you. The end. Okay, acquiring super strength. So exercise tips. You can't lift a chair, lift something smaller, keep progressing. Eventually you can lift a chair. Okay, so issue 4, kind of goofy, right? That's okay. Let's see what comes out in the next issue, next time around with Action Comics issue 5. See ya!